lot of them had worked for the ISI, which is Pakistan's intelligence service. It's like Pakistan's CIA. The ISI is funded indirectly through the CIA. So whether they knew it or not, they were funding the terrorists.
So, well...
And the guys who hijacked, for instance, one of the hijackers, Muhammad Atta, he was not a Muslim extremist because A, he'd been living here for years, he had an American girlfriend, he was supposedly addicted to cocaine. So these are all traits of someone who is not a Muslim extremist. Muslims don't do drugs, they don't date American women. If you're a Muslim fundamentalist, you would stick to the laws of Islam. And pretty much these guys were just paid thugs. That's all.
So they killed themselves for money that they couldn't
No,
spend?
that's where it gets weird. Like, I mean, that's where I think it's more along the lines of something like MK Ultra, where they're like brainwashing these people into carrying out something that they really want to do normally.
Do you think Jim Jones was brainwashed?
Oh, you mean down in South America where he made everyone drink the poison?
He would have been like
I think that was a CIA. I think that was definitely CIA manipulating events. Probably just an offshoot of the MK Ultra program. Like, oh, I wonder what happens if we can try to like control everyone's like minds in this village and then try to get everyone to kill themselves, and then the people who didn't want to kill themselves were forced to drink poison punch. Yeah, that's really weird.
What do you think is the most easy to prove conspiracy theory? That's like the most
Most obvious.
Yeah, I'll write a few of these ones on the board. So like MK Ultra, I talked about that one a lot. Definitely provable. A lot of survivors, a lot of accounts of it happening. Operation Gladio.
What's that?
Operation Gladio is how most world governments pretty much, they want to start a war, so they will use a false flag terrorist attack as an excuse to go to war, pretty much. Like for instance, during World War II, Franklin Delano Roosevelt and certain members of the cabinet knew that Pearl Harbor was going to be bombed. There's actually evidence today that they actually knew about that, so it's not a conspiracy theory. But anyways, it's one of those things where, they weren't pulling off the terrorist attack, but they let it happen as an excuse to go to war, because when the United States goes to war, we're smart enough to where we don't ever want to be portrayed as the aggressors, so we let a situation happen, and then once it happens, we're like, oh, you guys bombed us, even though they knew full well ahead of time and could have prevented it, and just let soldiers die instead, and then they have the excuse to go to war. But MK Ultra, Operation Gladio, it's another good one. You guys ever hear the Iran-Contra scandal? Nope. Yep.
Reagan.
No.
Yeah, look up Iran-Contra. In the 1980s, we realized that generals under Reagan were doing these arms deals in Central America. Basically, they were flying down guns, giving guns to these guerrilla groups, and then the guerrilla groups will give them cocaine in return. They bring the cocaine back to the United States and sell it. Yeah.
Isn't it called like Fast and Furious, how they said Obama was selling guns?
Fast and Furious, well, that wasn't even selling guns. Fast and Furious was, the idea was, they're going to sell guns undercover to Mexican drug cartels, and then put these bugs in the shipments of guns, and that way they could track to where the guns are being brought to the cartels, and they could bust these guys. Well, anyways, the trackers didn't work, and we just ended up giving a bunch of guns to cartels down there.